Welcome Leo to your in-depth monthly horoscope for August 2023. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to share some standout details for you to look out for, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater detail all the ins and outs particularly relevant to your sign. Now this month begins with a full moon in your opposite sign, but you are going to benefit from the new moon in Leo. And because the Sun governs your sign, this is going to give you particular extra amplification of your charisma. Also Venus may be in retrograde in your sign, but it comes into an exact conjunction, a Cazimi with the Sun on the 13th. That's really exciting too. Can't wait to share that with you. But it is true to say that Jupiter and Uranus do provide a challenge to you this month. They're squaring up with the Sun in your sign. And later in the month, we also have a blue moon. What's the implication for you on that too? So much to share with you, Leo. Please stay with me for more. I'd like to share with you a very special opportunity. This year is absolutely racing by, and year 2024 is speeding towards us. However, if you order your year 2024 personal horoscope forecast now, based on your unique birth data, I will prepare for you the rest of year 2023 free of charge. But also within my package of 30% off, you can get your character analysis report, your life roadmap. This helps you to understand the patterns that have played out in your journey so far. Some of these definitely give us opportunities, but others can be more challenging, and a more intimate understanding of these helps us to seize our potential more firmly. Please see the link beneath this video for more on this unique opportunity. So Leo, let's unpack August for you. Sometimes in life we have to be very single-minded, and that's one of the challenges for you this month, because whether it's someone you're involved with in a personal context or professionally, not everybody's necessarily going to get where you want to come from. So that test begins on the first day, when the full moon in the sign of Aquarius suggests that somebody may feel that you've been so preoccupied of late, they feel a little bit pushed out, even neglected. I feel that this particular full moon can be handled with a touch of delicacy and diplomacy. However, if there is a relationship issue that is more challenged, it may be because you both have different attitudes to money or different core values. And that can be highlighted by the fact that Saturn and Mercury are in an opposition across the first 4 days, exact on the 2nd, and that could see you feeling a little bit pessimistic, especially if things have been more challenging and you've encountered some headwinds. But take heart, because Jupiter is forging a sensational link with Mars right at the start of this month, and this can be extremely good for your financial situation, especially if you've got a big idea that you're really invested in. And this is what I mean. Sometimes in life it's not necessarily about getting accolades, it's about believing in what we need to do for ourselves despite the resistance, and still going for it. And because Jupiter links so brilliantly to Mars, but challenges the Sun in your sign across the start of this month, you may encounter both energies. Some people may be cheering you on, other people doubting what you want to do. So your self-belief is going to be vital, particularly from the 4th, because Mercury goes into its pre-retrograde shadow. It goes into the 3rd of its retrogrades this year on the 23rd, and that does happen in your sector of everyday finance. So it's slowing down from the 4th, but you do have an opportunity in week 2, despite that, of Mercury linking brilliantly with Jupiter. So maybe some rethinking may be needed about how you use your everyday money, or where you want to choose to perhaps speculate Maybe there's a business idea you have that you want to test out, do some research, maybe a tiny bit of investment to test something, test the validity. And because Mercury is very much about commerce and Jupiter about trade, you could have some good fortune in week 2, despite that rather stodgy start to the month in terms of Mercury being opposed by Saturn. And what that might do, to be honest, is just show who may see something very starkly different to you. It doesn't mean to say what you're seeing is wrong. And also, with regard to the Sun square to Jupiter across the first 10 days of this month, one of your great qualities is your generosity. And there may be a situation that you want to assist. Jupiter's in the part of your chart that's very much to do with how you link to the public. So perhaps it may be a community enterprise, it may be something where you can volunteer, it may be a donation that you're going to make, because the Sun square Jupiter can actually be one of the better squares to go through. But it just may mean that someone doesn't share your enthusiasm, so just bear that in mind. Now, as the month evolves, Venus in retrograde in your sign, what does this mean? I think it's possible that when it comes to your creative output, or even how you feel about your personal appearance, you could do some rethinking. This would be a fine time to perhaps challenge yourself a little bit about your diet or about how you present yourself. Venus isn't just about relationships and loot. It can be about our self-worth, and it can definitely be quite an artistic influence. The first house is our identity, so you may give yourself some kind of radical makeover, and that can really crest up on the back of the Cazimi with the Sun, between Venus and the Sun on the 13th. But don't be surprised if you're single, if more than one person starts to develop quite the interest in you. The new moon on the 16th is going to boost your confidence even more. But just be aware that the chaotic energy of Uranus is applying to this from the 12th to the 19th. Perhaps when it comes to your professional situation, something you do want to do is not going to receive the green light in the way you would like. Perhaps it's a job application, perhaps a business idea. It's a bit helter-skelter, but don't give up on it if that's the case. And most of all, don't underestimate how you can use your charm and personality power to great effect. And the link between Venus and the North Node in the early part of this month is a classic example of how you can expand your situation, but by using your passion and your talents and creativity. People can be receptive. It's just more stodgy people who are not quite so much perhaps on trend. They may be the ones, more conservative types, who may be resisting some of the things you want to do. But the 23rd does see Mercury go into a retrograde, and that's going to last to the middle of September, but the post-retrograde shadow goes on to the 30th of September. So really from the 4th of this month to the end of September, you may be thinking very carefully about your resources, but the Sun's moving to Virgo on the 23rd too, also is going to give you a lot of drive. And because Mars is in this location for a further 5 days, any determination you show, despite the retrograde, can come back to you. Do remember that Mercury retrogrades can cause glitches for sure, but they also give us an opportunity to recalibrate, repurpose, reassess, and maybe if you can squeeze more from your budget by the precision of Mercury and Virgo, the retrograde can actually be a real asset to you. Now on the 28th, Mars moves into the sign of Libra, and this is terrific for you because Mars in the 3rd house is very much about communication, but it also can be about getting more active, because Venus in your sign could be seeing you enjoying some good things in life. Your Sun is very much about enjoying things to the maximum. So Mars moving into the 3rd can give you a push to perhaps be a bit more active, but Uranus does slam on the brakes to join up with Mercury and Venus on the 29th, and that is going to be heading backwards through to the 27th of January in your sector of worldly ambitions and interactions. Perhaps if you have encountered some resistance this month, it may be time to get back to the drawing board on some things, but I don't think it's going to be on all strands. It's more a case of recognizing that if you are being very progressive in certain parts of your planning, other people might not be quite ready for where you are. The blue moon, the second full moon of the month, occurs on the 31st, and that is emphasizing longer term resources because it's very close to the more restrictive energies of Saturn. I think for us all, as we come to the end of this month, because of the energy in Virgo, which is very much about checking, analysing, working out whether things have true value, Virgo likes to see tangible benefits, so it's a practical sign, it's an earth sign, and of course with its ruler in retrograde, rethinking is inevitable for all of us. But for you, I feel that this blue moon just suggests it's not just your everyday money that's at stake, it may be where you're more invested with someone else. The 8th house could also be to do with things like pensions, legacies, investments, savings, insurances, mortgages, all those kind of things. And obviously Saturn can bring a more somber vibration to the situation, but Mars in the 3rd house is going to give you an enormous amount of propulsion when it comes to your ideas and passion. So don't be fearful at the end of the month. I just think we're all going to be reaching more into this big reset that's going on. But for you, overwhelmingly, this is a month when you can shine as an individual. Demonstrate to people the huge range of your talents, but most of all the warmth of your spirit, and that could see some people feeling a bit envious. It may see some people not quite getting the big picture of some of your ideas when it comes to your professional hopes, but it's certainly a time to take what you want to do for you very seriously, because later in the month you can see how those ideas manifest into something that's much more tangible, which could be really exciting. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Leo. Please like, share, comment or subscribe.